Hey guys, it's James here from eBassGuitar, and we are just about to start the day's filming here at eBassGuitar HQ, and my old faithful Sadowski is starting to sound a little bit buzzy, so I'm going to show you exactly what I'm going to do about that right now. See you on the other side. Hey guys, welcome to eBassGuitar. As I said, we're just about to start filming here, and one of the things that I've been noticing on my bass is it's starting to get a little bit buzzy recently, and I've done a couple of things. The first thing is I've changed the strings on it very recently, and this can have an effect on it. So duck over, check out the video I did about how I changed my strings if you're interested in that one. But slight differences in tension in the strings, length, all that sort of thing can cause the neck to move a little bit, and that's what can cause buzz. So the first thing which can cause buzz on the bass is changing your strings. The second one which can do it is atmospherics. So we're starting to, here in the UK, summer is coming to an end, winter is coming our way, the temperature is moving a little bit, and this can affect our neck. So the neck moving is one of the things that can affect buzzing on the bass. There are a bunch of other things, but I'm not a guitar tech, but I've got a massive hunch that it is a neck adjustment, and I've had a look, and there's a little sort of measurement that I'm going to show you, or a test that rather, not a measurement, that I can show you that we're going to do, which shows me I'm probably pretty right on this one. The other one, so you know what can cause buzz, or likely is to cause buzz on the neck, is how your bridge is set up down there, so the height of these. But the Sadowski, I play Sadowski basses up there, awesome basses. The thing that you'll find with these Sadowskis is the hardware that they use is rock solid, so I've never really found this moves very much, but this is the other option. The other thing, the third one that possibly may cause buzz on the bass is actually to do with the frets if they're starting to wear down and you've got uneven heights going on there. But again, Sadowski basses are so well known, and this bass is, I don't know, 4 or 5 years old, something like that, and I've noticed no fret wear on there. If you've got an old vintage Fender, something like that, you might have, like, I don't know, a lot of fret wear on there. Or if you've got more of a budget bass or something like that, the fret wire isn't going to be made from such good metal, so that may wear down. But the chances are, the thing which generally affects this bass from experience is either atmospherics or string changes, and both of those are happening here in the UK at the moment. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a slight tweak on this. I'm going to try and take you with me. Harvey, my videographer, is here, and we've been trying to get some shots of how we measure up, and it's actually remarkably difficult to get these shots because there's such subtle changes. But I'm going to talk you through it so you know what to look for. So the number one thing that you want with your bass is you need a little bit of bend in the neck. So the neck needs to have a slight bow to it. So what you want to do to check that out is that your strings here are always at tension. This is always 100% straight because the neck, or the string is at tension. What happens to the neck is it has a slight degree of bow, and we need that bow. That bow is a good thing because it enables the fretting system to work on the neck and there to be no buzz. If it gets too high, the frets hit the strings and notes get choked and buzz, etc, etc. And that's what's starting to happen a little bit to the bass right now. So what I need to do is put more bow into the neck. And how we see this, I'm going to show you a technique to do this. So this is to close one eye. I'm going to do this directly at the camera, like so, and you need to look down the neck like so. I mean, a little bit like you're probably firing a gun or something like that down the eyesight of that, and you will see that the string is 100% straight, and I'm literally closing one eye to do this, and then you will see a slight degree of bow in the neck. And from experience, I know that the bow I can see on that neck isn't quite enough, and so when I play, you get a slight degree of buzz like that. There's a couple of things that I will throw into the equation right now. I, as a player, play pretty hard. I always have done because I play double bass too, so to get the sound out of that instrument you have to lay into it, so that's kind of taken over a little bit to the bass guitar. So this is personally how I play. I also like to lay into the bass a little bit. I like to have a little bit of clank to the sound. I quite like the sound of a little bit of fret buzz when you dig in. So I like to be able to get that you hear there sometimes when I'm digging in to get that slightly choked sound, and then I'll ease off again to get a slightly smoother sound. So it depends on the sound you're getting. I'd see it as part of, I guess, my sort of tonal palette that I've got going on. So I don't find the buzz particularly offensive, but there's kind of a point where it starts to take over the sound a little bit like that. So I tend to, that's the point that I want to actually start taking it down a little bit. So then the other thing, just purely from a recording thing at eBassGuitar HQ here, so you guys can hear the lesson, I have this lav mic here. What it does is it picks up the top end of the room a little bit. It's just something I can't help because you need to hear me talk. So there's nothing really very much I can do about that, but when it picks up the top end of the room, it tends to pick up the clank and the buzz, because the buzz is the higher end frequencies. So there's not much I can really do about it. So probably in this situation of you listening to it on YouTube with small speakers and this particular lav mic that I've got on here, is you're probably going to hear it a little bit more accentuated than if you are on a live setting on a gig, for instance. And in all honesty, a lot of the buzz I tend to find gets lost when you get with a rock and roll band and you've got cymbals and keyboards and guitars clattering around. But it's in situations like this where it's a bit more critical, or you're recording or teaching for YouTube like we are now, where this buzz can really start to come out. So I'm going to talk about how to make the adjustment, and we're going to see what happens kind of live on air. So what I need to do to adjust the bow and the neck, for those of you which don't know, there is a rod which goes all the way down the neck. This is called a truss rod. So it is this particular rod that we want to adjust in the neck, okay? So what we can do is every bass we have a method of adjusting. Normally you could do this with an Allen key, or a hex key I think you call it in the States, and you can put it in like so, and it goes in the side there, and you can move it back and forth. I can't remember what size it is, I think they vary slightly in size, but the guys at Sadowski, I'm not sure if any other brands do it, but it's definitely a Sadowski thing, have put this kind of ball joint on the neck like so. It's like a ball that you can move just with an ordinary screwdriver, which is so great for when you're on a gig or whatever. So you can do it, and you don't have to find that. You can just find an ordinary screwdriver and get on and move it. And that's what I'm going to do now. So to go back to what's happening with the neck at the moment there isn't enough bow in there, which is causing the buzz. So we, to exaggerate, want to put more bow in like that. To do that, I need to loosen the truss rod. And to do that, I need to move it counterclockwise or anti-clockwise. So I've got the screwdriver in the neck like so. What I suggest you do is just do really small incremental movements to begin with, like half a turn, something like that, so you get to know your bass. There really, in all honesty, in a well-made bass isn't too much to go wrong at this particular moment, but at the same time I do encourage you to be careful. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to do literally quarter of a turn like this, like so, and then I'm going to look down the bass and see what difference it's made, like so. Okay, and I can actually see now, it's subtle, but it's definitely moved. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to play a line on the bass guitar now to hear how this sounds. And yeah, still a little bit buzzy, so I'm going to take off a little bit more. You can always put more back on if you want, so I'm going to do another half turn at this point. So, like that. So let's see what this sounds like. And I think you can instantly start to hear that sounds a little bit cleaner. Yeah, particularly on that E. That was where the E on the second fret, I was really hearing it. Now, what you're going to notice is the byproduct of doing this is that the notes at the 12th fret right there are a little bit harder to press down at that point. You're going to feel that. Like so. But I'm going to try again, put another, take off another half a turn. For me, it might be too much. Okay, I'm actually doing more like quarter of a turn, but. Then just try around the neck. See, that now feels pretty good to me. It's a touch high maybe for my tastes here, but as I said, I don't mind a bit of clank in the sound, but I'm trying to get rid of that where it's buzzing on every single note. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to tune the bass up. So the important thing to realize is that actually changing the tension of the neck, which is what you're doing, the height of the strings, etc., will affect the tuning. So I've got the faithful snark here. I love these things. I know some players don't think it's the coolest thing having this sitting on your neck, but I just love the convenience and I think it's so accurate. So yeah, we can see we just lost a tiny little bit of pitch. Yeah, they're all consistently off. A tiny bit. Cool. Cool, so as you can see, the buzz has gone and I've dropped my screwdriver down there, but I'm happy with where that's at now. So what I encourage you to do is play around with the bass and experiment, see what it does. As I said earlier in the video, there's kind of very little to go wrong here. It's unlikely you're going to damage your bass. So experiment with what a high action feels like, experiment with what a low action feels like. As I said, this is something that I generally do myself because I'm confident enough to tinker with the bass without too many issues. So adjusting the string height down here, the relief of the neck is a common things that I feel like all bass players should be able to do. I draw the line very much at tinkering with the nut or the frets or anything like that. That's just way beyond what I'm comfortable with doing. So if you get to that point, please take it to a proper qualified technician who knows what he's doing. If you're feeling unconfident with doing with fiddling with the neck, or you just get yourself in a bit of a mess and send yourself down a rabbit hole and you're just not sure how to get out with it, get a tech to set it up. It's not generally expensive for them to do the basic adjustments to the bass, but I encourage you, just for the sake of cost sometimes, to get comfortable, cost and convenience, to be able to play around with the neck, because as I said, atmospherics, changes in temperature, and changing strings or changing the gauge of the strings do have an effect on this stuff. Anyway, that's it for now. I hope this sort of short, more informal style video has been helpful. And yeah, please comment below and let us know what you think. And I will catch you next time. I've been James from eBassGuitar.com and I'll see you next time. Bye bye.